Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Well, happy Thanksgiving week morning, Monday.
Morning.
Hi, Jeremiah.
Good morning, Jen. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Well, go ahead. Let you do your opening there.
Okay. Well, welcome to the morning show on Main Street TV. And the good news is we have two newsmen in the house this morning to do the morning news update. And of course, that's brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you have any real estate needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll work hard for you. How's that?
Sounds good. So did you have a good weekend?
I had an exhausting weekend. You want to know why?
Let's hear.
Because my mother, isn't that how we do it, James? Yes.
My mother.
My mother decided that I needed a puppy.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got a little puppy running around, huh? I'm sure that's fun. How's is it Marley? How's Marley acting with the puppy?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Does the puppy have a name?
Olive.
Olive. Okay.
She's super cute. Isn't she, James?
It is a very cute puppy.
Do you have pictures we can show?
Give me a minute. I'll get some.
Okay. I can't remember what I sent to who anymore. I'm delirious.
Yeah.
I understand why the good Lord never gave me a child, because I can't even deal with a puppy.
How old is Marley now? I mean, it's probably been a while since you've had a puppy,
Yeah,
right?
Marley is 11, and honestly, we got her when she was 5, so we haven't had a puppy for like 20 years.
All right. It's like a new experience all over again.
Whole new
it's like riding a bike.
Something like that, yes.
When you haven't done it for a long time. So.
Oh, but she is cute, and her name is Olive, and she's a Pembroke Welsh Corgi puppy. So
a Corgi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had corgis growing up because I showed horses. You know, Horse Queen of England has corgis, or had.
Right.
So the Horse Queen, of course, had to have corgis as well. So I had them way before corgis became popular, which they're very popular right now. But they were not as popular when I had them growing up. And then I haven't had one for quite some time. So Puppy arrived on the scene, and she does pretty good, but she's...
I know they are popular. I know sometimes when you go into stores, you see them like on shirts and like sweaters and different stuff like that. Everybody likes the corgis.
All right, are you ready for this cute dog, Jeremiah?
Let's see it.
It is kind of cuteness overload.
Oh,
yeah. She's adorable.
She is cute.
And she's literally like the size of my foot, so it's hard to not step on her.
Okay,
but
that's
Olive.
She looks very sweet. Sweet?
When she's sleeping.
Just
like a baby.
Just like a baby.
So
All
anyway.
Right. Well, very, very good.
Well,
very
had a good weekend. I know that you were out and about and did some fun things. You said you were shopping and whatnot, but you also did new stuff too.
Well, this has actually happened on Thursday. What I covered, I'm going to talk about
here.
I actually got a little bit of the weekend off. Didn't have to do.
What?
Did a little shopping in Columbus on
and of
Sunday.
Course, So Jeremiah, first thing I come in this morning, and he's like, "You're not gonna believe this, but I was at the mall and ran into some people a girl from Jackson." I'm like, "I do believe that because it seems like
it was somebody that worked there. That's what threw me.
Somebody was working at the mall.
At the mall, yeah,
yeah,
was
and
like,
knew you.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, you're from Jackson County." My wife always gets so upset when I say this because she's like. Nobody, because I always talk about people know who I am sometimes when I go places, which it's always funny. And she's like, "You're the news guy," and I said, but it ended up being I can't remember the lady's name because I was in a rush. I just had run into the store to grab something real quick and run back out. It was a Vera Bradley store at Sunbury at the Tangier Outlet Mall.
Okay.
And I can't remember the lady's name, but she said she had family that worked at and owns Marvin Gardens.
Oh yes,
and I think she was
the
on.
Davis family.
She was on the she was on the show with you guys when you guys did I think it was like the Marquette earlier.
Yeah, when we
year.
went out for the flower show. It was probably Amy, I would guess.
Yeah, I recognized her when she said who she was with.
Yeah,
but I couldn't remember her name. So
shout
out to
there.
Amy if that's who I bumped into up there. But it was
What's
just
the other one? Megan?
Kind of funny.
Megan's the other one, right? Pete?
Megan
Davis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was either Amy or Megan.
It was one of the Davis girls.
One of the Davis girls. So that was just kind of funny.
Are there three of them?
There's three.
Okay.
Oh, Pete says there's three. So it was one of the three. But
creating an extra child. Then Adam, of course.
Adam, of course.
Okay.
The lone boy.
Well, there you go.
Had to put up with all those sisters.
Yeah. Anyhow. We got a
Anywho,
little
so
off.
hi from Jackson if you're
Yeah.
watching up at the Vera Bradley store.
Right.
Very
so
cool.
I got a little off subject there.
Yeah, we
That's
digress.
Okay, though.
I'm sorry. This is what I've dealt with all weekend.
Yeah.
With a puppy. Squirrel. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
I'm going to eat a bite. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
I'm going to go chew on something.
It's definitely a Monday morning, Jen.
Yes. Okay.
All
Ooh,
right.
get your stuff together.
Yeah.
All right.
So last week on Thursday, I covered the Festival of Lights. Okay,
That's always a good one.
It is, and you may remember it kind of underwent some change of ownership or leadership, and once upon a time was the American Cancer Society's Festival of Trees.
Yes.
Now, the American Cancer Society, the Festival of Trees, the Jackson County unit decided after it was 30 years of doing it to kind of hand this event off to somebody else who would take it.
Yeah.
Well, the Jackson County Board on Aging decided to take that over. But the American Cancer Society Festival of Trees, it went on for, it was celebrated its 30th year in 2019, Jen.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it wasn't held in 2020 because of the health pandemic.
Because of the Rona.
Yeah, because the Rona wiped out a lot of the events in 2020, but a lot of those came back, in 2021. So the first year that the Jackson County Board on Aging took this over was in 2021, November last year.
Yep.
So this year would have been the second year that the Board on Aging took over that event there. And they changed the name. It went from being the Festival of Trees to the Festival of Lights, and it was held on Thursday, November 17th with the gala. And James has some pictures here that I'm going to talk about. The one that he has up there now, this was one of the centerpieces. This one, Best of Show, it was called Country Berries.
Holy moly, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it was decorated by Peggy Vickers, and it sold for $75 to the Jackson County Banking Company.
Nice.
So that was one of the few centerpieces that they had. One of the other entries that he can put up there, this would be number 2. It was an artwork piece. This was something that they kind of added. A lot of their seniors do art.
That is adorable.
Yeah. So this was called Christmas on the Farm. This was Best of Show artwork. And it was done by decorator Barbie Gallon. And it sold for $210 to Shane Porter.
Wow.
And last year was the first time that they'd had art like this because a lot of those senior citizens, they do artwork.
Yeah,
so they decided to put some of those up for auction.
Smart.
Yeah, because before you had your like 6 foot and up trees, your 4 foot
trees
and up,
and wreaths and things
they had
like
like
that.
little mini trees and the centerpieces and stuff. So that kind of added another category.
Love that.
To that. So,
cool.
that was a nice piece that sold. Another Best of Show was this was the 6 to 7 foot tree standing there with the tree that is Jamie Howard. She was one of the decorators. And this tree was called Boo. It was beautiful faces of the season.
Okay.
She was kind of doing a play on words there.
I gotcha.
It sold for $500 to Mark Porter.
Nice.
Is what that one went for. But there's Jamie, and she told me, she said, I didn't think about getting pictures taken. She goes, I had a long day, and I wasn't going to come, but then I decided to come, and she goes, I wore jeans, I could be comfortable. She said.
Well, she
so
looks
there
great.
she is, having a good evening and being comfortable.
And being comfortable. Good for you, Jamie.
Yeah. And the 3 to 4 foot trees, you had the best of show was called a vintage Christmas morning, and this was decorated. You have there, it's Diana Pierpont and Karen Oxenbein.
Yeah, Oxenbein. Yep.
Oxenbein. It sold for $600 to Southern Ohio Monument. This tree also won People's Choice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So something
great
that reminded me on the People's Choice. Usually when the American Cancer Society, the Festival of Trees had it, they did just like a People's Choice, and it was one item like overall. Mm-hmm. Well, when the Jackson County Board on Aging took over, they decided to do a People's Choice in each of the categories.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that one was one of the best shows in that division.
Gotcha.
And you can see pictures and learn who other best of shows were. I'm not going to go over all those because it's a lot of information, but you can read all about it in Wednesday's edition.
Awesome.
For the best of shows. Now, the best of show in the mini trees, we have
the widow trees. That's a wreath.
That's the wreath. The only other picture you sent me. Okay. Well, there should have been a little mini tree too, but there was a wreath. This was best of show. It was called Merry Grinchmas.
Oh.
Is it the one with the snowman?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, give me a second.
Okay, so we'll go over this one. It's best of show and the wreaths. It was Merry Grinchmas.
How
it was
cute!
It was decorated by
Love
Don
that.
Mullins and Kyra Walls.
Okay.
And it went for $225, and Ted Fraser Farms.
Okay.
Purchased it.
Is he saying he's a Grinch?
I don't. He was. I seen him bidding a lot and having some bidding wars with the porters out there Thursday night. He was sitting at their table, so they were carrying on, having some bidding wars there. So it's always fun to watch because you can see him just smirking and just putting that hand up, So this is the last one I'm going to go over out of the best of show. This was your mini tree. It was called "It's a Marshmallow World in the Winter." Decorated by Ann Hodge. It went for $525 to Cross & Sons Farm Equipment. So Wanda and Ansel purchased that one. So that's a rundown of all the best of show winners. There was other categories such as most traditional, most creative, and then obviously you had the People's Choice for those different divisions that I did go over.
Did you have a favorite?
Did I have a favorite? I did like the wreath that we had up there, the Merry Grinchmas one. They have that door that they always display that best of show wreath on. And it always kind of just makes that wreath pop for me.
Yeah.
I always like it. It's like it stands out.
Yeah.
So I really like that one. A little funny story about that one. I know Dawn and her daughter. I've known them for years through work, just through different things. And I'd messaged Dawn and said, "Are you going to be here this evening?" Because we always take pictures of the best of show winners.
Sure.
And she said, "No, I hadn't planned on it." She goes, "I'm a little under the weather." And she goes, "Why?" And I said, "Your wreath won best of show." And she goes, "You're kidding."
Didn't you know?
They didn't. It was kind of like a surprise, for the folks that came on whether or not they had won. So she was thrilled to death to win best of show. But they had 42 entries in the festival this year.
Great.
And they raised. I talked to Wendy James. She was kind of the spearhead for this. And she said that they were going to, once all the donations and stuff came in, they were shooting for about $12,000 raised from this event.
Whoa.
And that all stays locally here and helps the senior citizens.
For our seniors, yes. So important.
It's great. And the once again this year, for the auction portion that was held on Thursday, Patrick Ball was the auctioneer, and he always
he's entertaining.
Yes, he's entertaining and gets the folks to get their wallets and purses out, and make those bids.
That's right.
But in addition to the gala that was held on Thursday, November 17th, the Festival of Lights was open to the public on Friday, November 18th, and Saturday, November 19th, and you could go and view all these trees. And wreaths and centerpieces and stuff. And they also had an event, I think, on Saturday where Santa was there.
I think they do, yeah.
Different.
The kids can
come, and it's just kind of a fun little event
for
them. So I think that's a complete rundown of the Festival of Lights, Jen.
Well, thank you. And I'm so glad it sounds like, the senior citizens or the Board on Aging took that over, keeping that tradition alive, which is wonderful, but also helping our senior friends along the way. So
it's always a fun event to look forward to each year there before usually the week before Thanksgiving. Kind of gets everybody in the holiday spirit before Thanksgiving comes. So don't forget, we got Turkey Day coming up. Coming up on Thursday.
Okay,
and
I've been asking everybody: are you a turkey or a ham Thanksgiving person?
I like my turkey.
I like my turkey too.
I'll have a piece of ham. I have to say this: my mother-in-law always makes a ham. And it's always good, so I always got to have a piece of it. But we always pick on her. She always has a ham in the freezer ready to go. So Shirley, if you're watching, there's your shout out for the.
Shirley will be over for ham later.
Yeah, she's always about the ham.
All right, so do we deep fry our turkeys this year, or do we roast our turkeys? What are we doing?
Well, I usually go over to the families, and I think they usually roast theirs.
Yeah. I'm thinking about deep frying a turkey this year. I've
People
roasted it every year, and I've deep fried one turkey in my life, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's going to be 60 degrees. So I'm thinking it might be a fun Thanksgiving to deep fry a turkey outside. Don't do it inside.
And keep it away from everything. Just be safe about it if you do decide to deep fry a turkey. I know they make those kits that you like lower it down into. And
I have we have a turkey fryer at the house, and we typically use it for like low country boils and stuff like that. But it's certainly made for turkey frying. So we'll see. I don't know.
But I always look forward to, I tell you, Thanksgiving, I always look forward to my wife's aunt's. She makes chicken noodles, and they are to die for.
Yep.
Do you have a side dish that you make for Thanksgiving? I tell you what I have, but you tell me yours first, and I'll tell you.
So my contribution typically to Thanksgiving is cranberries, because people like them because I put alcohol in them.
Oh. Okay.
Not a lot of alcohol, just a little bit. And so you can get high on my cranberries.
Just enough.
And just for that special kick.
Right.
But so something, and I heard Matt talking about this the other day. When I was a little girl, and I would, everyone was still living, and I would go out to like my grandmother and Uncle Lewis's, which is out where Carmen's is now. And my Uncle Lewis, his contribution to Thanksgiving every year was he made a little dish of like oyster dressing. And I used to think as a kid that was so disgusting. And now I find myself like wanting that, because it's just, number one, it's nostalgic, but number two, it's delicious.
Right.
If you would just try it, it's really good.
I've not tried that. I know when we go over to her family's, usually there's stuffing, and I'm pretty sure there's usually the oyster stuffing as well. I never tried it, but maybe I'll take me a spoonful.
It's unique.
I'll take me a spoonful this year, and we'll try it if they have it.
If you take a spoonful, think of my Uncle Lewis.
Uncle Lewis.
Who is unfortunately not with us anymore, and I miss him very much. He was a sweetie. Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
So what about you?
So the thing I make every year that everybody loves is called corn pudding. You ever had corn pudding?
No, but it sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's super simple to make, and I make it every year if I go to her families or our families, and they usually there's not a whole lot left of it, but it's super simple. It's just whole corn, cream corn. You have a box of Jiffy that you put in it.
Like the cornbread stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a stick of butter and I think sour cream, and you just mix it all together, put it in a pan, you cook it, and it comes out kind of like cornbread, but it's got the corn and stuff. It's real sweet.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's just it was a recipe, and it's a recipe that I remember on my dad's side of the family. A great aunt every Thanksgiving when we would go there. That was something I always remembered. Well, before she had passed, I told her, I said, write down your recipe for me. That way when I get older and I want to, be able to make that.
Continue it on.
So I kept it all these years and I still have it, jotted down. But it's so simple to make. And it always turns out so good. But
how much of Thanksgiving is like nostalgia and how much of it is like things you actually like to eat or like memories and all that stuff. Yeah. It's kind of cool if you think about it.
It is. And I always look forward to the Macy's Day Parade.
I know. That's the one,
I don't know
Jamie...
if I'll be able to watch it this year because I don't have, like TV. But they were saying something about you might be able to stream it on Peacock this year.
Oh, okay.
So I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
Get up and watch it.
Get you a $20 antenna.
Well, I had one hooked up. Maybe I'll have to dig it out and see if I can't get that channel to come in again.
It's on like every channel, so.
Yeah. Well, they were saying NBC.
Yeah, it's just on NBC.
I thought they put it on every channel.
Yeah. So I'll have to try to see if I can't dig out the antenna and see if I can't hook up to it maybe.
Okay, very good. You should be able to get
anyhow, that. I've talked long enough, I think. Pete's over here.
Pete's over here wanting to do some news. We're talking about turkey. We're talking turkey.
Yeah. So I'll
Thanks,
give my
Jeremiah.
seat to Pete. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
That's right. And if you feel as if you need to bring that corn pudding to our Friendsgiving here at the office, that's perfectly fine.
I did buy extra. I did buy extra ingredients because you know how ingredients get right before the holiday.
That's
all
right.
Of it's gone. So maybe I'll make it and bring it in.
Okay. It's a challenge. Yeah. Come on over, Pete. All right, Pete, are you a turkey or ham kind of guy?
Okay. Without question, Thanksgiving has to be turkey.
Okay.
All right.
So James says turkey as well.
Right. Well, how it works in my mind is turkey for Thanksgiving, ham for Easter, toss up for Christmas.
Aha.
But probably I would lean towards turkey. I like turkey, but you don't see people trotting it out all that much.
Yeah.
And because of that,
pun intended.
Definitely tied to Thanksgiving. And when I do a side dish, since you didn't ask, it's Marie Callender's turkey pot pie. That is my specialty.
Ooh.
Yes.
Hey, that's delicious. So Jamie and I were just talking about pot pie the other day and how delicious
microwave
it is.
Or oven, either way.
Either way.
Yeah, it's usually microwave. I am a microwave expert.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to get much on the stovetop.
Pam won't let him.
Yes, not permitted.
Yes.
But anyway, Thanksgiving, great holiday because let's face it, it is thanks. That's what it's about. But it's also about eating.
Yes.
Without question. That is the centerpiece of the holiday, that and football.
It's stress. It's a lot less stress than the Christmas part.
Right, where, you have all those other great things, but you have a lot to think about, a lot to plan for, a lot to take care of.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Anyway, always look forward to Thanksgiving. And speaking of Thanksgiving, of course, Jeremiah gave us a great report on the Festival of Lights, and that was
glad that continued on.
That was that was so good for the Board of Aging to pick that up. Lisa Warren's no longer with the Board of Aging, wanted to pick that up. She was one of the participants, along with other folks at the Board of Aging,
right?
And she took the baton there when there was really nobody else to took it. She now works out at Cantor's Cave. She's the manager out there, but Wendy James now has taken the baton from her at the Board of Aging, and from all accounts, she just did a great job with it. It is a tradition. Some people just have participated in that for decades.
For sure.
Either as sponsors, as decorators, et cetera. You see some of the same names. And when you see those trees, I know you have, they just blow your mind.
Crazy stuff.
It's like an art exhibit at the Marquee.
Yes, it is.
That is
correct.
And it makes a lot of money for a good cause. But that was just, and speaking of that, Jeremiah did mention this, but I'll mention it again. We're going to have a really in-depth coverage of that in our Wednesday paper because it's such a visual thing. Mm-hmm. We hope to have kind of like a spread maybe on the back page in color.
Okay, great.
Some of those photos and, of course, all the results. And that'll come in our Wednesday print edition, and we'll have that online, I'm sure, before then.
Perfect.
So you all can look for that. But that was just one of the good things that happened over the weekend. We are now officially in the holiday season. Mm-hmm. The Festival of Lights, former Festival of Trees, kind of was a kickoff. They had that the week before Thanksgiving, and it kind of is the unofficial kickoff to the holiday season if you're in the Jackson area. But this weekend, there were some other good things where, people donated their time, donated their money to make it much better for others. And I'm just going to talk about a few of them that happened.
Okay.
And these are things that we have covered or will cover in the Telegram and on our other platforms, the radio, etc. On Saturday, there is a ministry, a food ministry at the Good Shepherd Wesleyan Church called the Ladle of Love.
Yes.
Right. And people are still getting familiar with that because it's fairly new. It's only been around 3 or 4 years. But Christina Sexton Embody, Christina Sexton Embody there in the photo that James just put up. She is the second from the right. She founded that several years ago when she saw a need. She saw a need even more during the COVID times, which was within a year of the foundation. She decided to keep it going. They deliver about 200 meals the first and third Saturday of each month. They deliver most of them, some of them to the Cameron, all over the county. They also do carry out and dine in now, which they couldn't do during COVID. But they have several holiday meals a year that are special, where they have a special menu. One of those was last Saturday. This was their Thanksgiving meal. And those are for the volunteers, prominent volunteers that you see pictured there from the left. You see Shirley Stover. Then you see Earl Ireland. Then, of course, Christina Sexton Embody. She's very big in 4-H too. And there on the right is the chicken and noodle queen of Jackson County, Patricia Tipton, along with Jeremiah's mother-in-law or whoever he was speaking of.
That is true.
But they decided to do chicken and noodles as the main dish because it's a little bit of departure from Thanksgiving. A lot of the folks may have a typical Thanksgiving dinner a little later. But on this Saturday, instead of 200 meals, they served did takeout and delivered 307 meals.
Wow.
Now think of all the work involved. This is a fairly small core of volunteers. Think of the work involved that those folks do twice a month and bigger this past weekend, and think of the money it takes to do it. I'm not sure how much the church supports it. The church has the facility there. They may do a little bankrolling too, but they count on donations from the public. And so that would be a very worthy holiday donation or any time of year to support that ministry. I'm sure they could use volunteers, but they could certainly use money to purchase the food. But they do that, as I said, twice a month on the first and third Saturday of each month. They have a regular delivery route all throughout Jackson County, just not the Jackson area. And you just need to contact them through their Facebook or through Christina Sexton. But I don't have her phone number, but it's posted.
Okay.
You can get on the line, and it's free. That they will accept donations for a meal, but the purpose is to get a meal to folks who can't get out, who couldn't prepare a meal like that for themselves. It's always home cooked and delish.
Yes.
But that was the Ladle of Love this weekend. You know how cold it was on Saturday, right?
Oh my.
Okay.
Whew.
Well, the Jackson High School cheerleaders were out Saturday morning.
Saw them out and about.
All over Jackson, taking donations for the Jackson County Homelessness Committee.
They were.
And
we participated.
Right. That was very nice of them to do. And especially because on Saturday, that is a Jackson High School junior cheerleader, Riley Kilgore. She's got her gloves, she's got her toboggan.
Yep.
And she's got that sign there, spread some cheer, play on words for the cheerleaders for the Homelessness Committee. The Homeless Committee just could not believe that the cheerleaders were willing to do this. That's kind of a charity that's kind of in the background a little bit. You know that homelessness problem is here.
Yep.
But unless you're involved, somebody, it just might not, bite you in the face that this problem exists. You have a lot of couch surfing. You might not have people, not that there aren't some people living in tents and in cars, but you have a lot of people doing what they call couch surfing. They really don't have a place to stay.
Sure.
And it gets to be more serious situation in the cold weather months.
Yes.
But the cheerleaders were out donating or collecting donations. Riley was at the downtown treatery, and there were other sponsors that stepped up. The treatery, if you made a donation to Riley on Saturday morning, you got a free donut.
Oh, well.
So that was enough to get me a donut.
Yeah.
That was to donate for a donut.
Donate for a donut.
I picked up a few extra there just to make sure. But that was a wonderful project by the Homelessness Committee.
Yes.
Also, over the weekend, a couple other charity things. Of course, the big Rock for Tots concert was held on Saturday, around Friday evening at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center. I popped in there. James Hamilton, our own James Hamilton, was there taking all kinds of pictures, supporting it and he's going to pass along pictures that we can use in the paper. but they had nearly a full house there.
I saw pictures. I wasn't able to go.
Just great support for that. And it's two things. You know, it was basically an older crowd. I can say that because I'm in that crowd. They like 60s music, by golly, and they know the members of the band. Now, they threw Ben Davis Jr. in there. He's not a 60-something.
No,
he
definitely
might be a 30-something, but he was in there to help the band there. But, you know, you had John Jones, Craig Klein, David Leach, and, of course, our own John Pelletier.
That's right.
And let me tell you, I didn't know their music. I went to the first Rock for Tots concert. This was my second one. I didn't realize how rock and roll they were. When I'm saying they're rocking, this isn't Bobby Vinton stuff that they were doing.
Yeah,
they were rocking.
They get on it,
rocking and rolling with the acoustic sound and everything. And John Pelletier probably slept all day on Saturday, would be my guess, because they expended a lot of energy. And of course, it was for a great cause.
100% great cause.
You're talking about the Rock for Tots Christmas program for children. They're going to make donations to the Geared Up for Christmas here in Jackson, to the Wellston Fire Department, what they do in Wellston.
Yep.
And then, of course, they're going to have some money as well for the Bart Wiseman.
The Sonic Rhythm Academy,
Symphonic Rhythm Academy.
How did the kids do, James?
It was really the highlight of the whole thing.
They started out and sang 2 songs.
What did they sing? I was curious.
Well, they did Born on a Bayou by CCR.
Yeah.
And do you remember the first song they played, Pete?
Oh, golly.
Was it Stand By Me?
Yeah, Stand By Me, Ben King.
Cute.
Right. And so those are 2 standards. They did a great job. And you know what? You looked up there and, of course, Morgan Washam was leading them. And he's a great conductor and great believer in passing on the love of music to the kids. And you could see those kids, they just loved being performed, and the crowd was so receptive to it. So, you know, really something, I guess, you know, John Pelletier, he is a tender-hearted guy. His voice was cracking when he was talking about, of course, Bart Wiseman, the late Bart Wiseman being a son-in-law and all. And for Bart's legacy to be passed on, there couldn't be a better way to do it.
That's right.
So that was a great night as well for a great cause. Entertainment. And also, of course, you know, the charity angle there as well.
All good.
Right. And then, you know, all this, you know, is played out on television as previews. Ralph Henneman did have, you know, the Hamden Strongman competition. Now, they made some revisions because it was so cold.
Okay.
They moved some of the things inside the Temple Fitness. But they also did have some events at the Hamden Fire Department that had to be outside with the truck and all.
Well, you know, when you're pulling a fire truck, you can't do that inside.
No, you can't. You can't do that inside in the weight room. And we're going to have some reports on that too, because I didn't ask him to, because we've expected a lot of him lately. But by golly, Red Thompson Jr. rolled out to cover those events, and so you know there'll be coverage coming later in the newspaper on that. But of course. That brought some good publicity, not only to Temple Fitness and the good work they do, and the Hamden Fire Department, of course, but it raised money for the Viking Players, which is the drama club group for the Vinton County High School.
That's right.
So, you know, another really nice thing there as well. Speaking of holiday and Christmas, there was a big event on Saturday evening in MacArthur at Central Elementary School. And the big event for Christmas in Vinton County is called Christmas in Downtown.
Okay.
They're going to do it on Saturday, December the 3rd. Going to be a parade. Santa Claus will be there. A lot of the merchants do special deals and like that. It's kind of like a late Black Friday thing that's very localized. But
so wait, is December 3rd, is that this weekend or next?
No,
it's 2 weekends.
We have the Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We have the Thanksgiving weekend and the Ohio State Michigan
and
game.
then the next
that way. And then the next weekend when
all goes
Ohio
crazy.
State's in the Big Ten championship game.
Yes.
Right?
We hope.
Right. And then
as long as they don't play like they did this week.
Right. Well,
or Michigan plays like they did this week.
Right. Well, you know, hey, they're all human. They all kind of look ahead a little bit.
Yeah, you knew this whole weekend was a debacle with football if you aren't a football fan. But
you know, sometimes when you don't play well, you lose, and both of them did end up winning.
They did end up winning.
So you know,
barely.
Yeah, right. The game of the century is on. You know. So anyway, of course, they have 5 or 6 games of the century. So you have to say that when those two teams meet. But they are both undefeated. Ohio State ranked number 2, Michigan ranked number 3.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, back to Christmas
We
in
digress.
downtown. They did a royalty contest on Saturday evening, and after Red shivered in the cold to cover the Hamden Fire Department and Temple Fitness stuff, he covered this Queens contest that was on Saturday evening there in Vinton County. And this was at Central Elementary School. They had 3 levels of royalty. The teen, the junior, and the little.
Gotcha.
And these are the girls that ended up being picked. They're on the bottom row from the left. There's a junior Miss Queen Audrey McNally, then junior Miss Princess Harmony Huntley. They have 2 royalty members.
Okay.
Then there's Little Miss Queen Winter Lively and Little Miss Princess Rhea Holly. In the back row are the senior court members. You have the Queen, you have the Princess Destiny Hopkins. Then you have the Queen Gabrielle Champion, and then Miss Congeniality Kelly Collins. And so we will have coverage on that as well. Hopefully here in our next paper or on Saturday. We may back it up till Saturday to get it all ready because it will be a week from Saturday.
Yes.
But regardless, we will have that coverage. Now, there was no charity angle here, but still it was worth noting. The Jackson High School play was held this past weekend, and it was a fun thing. Kathy Lord always makes it fun. It wasn't Disney, but it was the next thing to it.
That's right.
It was a takeoff on the Grimm fairy tales called the Brothers Grimm Spectaculation.
Yes.
Or Spectaculars. It's a play off the word.
Spectaculathon.
Right, and they use that
so
word
marathon and spectacular all together.
Right, all those words together. It was spectacular, and it was a bunch of Grimm fairy tales, kind of told in a different way a little bit. I think they took some liberties maybe with the stories, but they had all the costumes and all like that. That is Sydney Fain on the right playing a part, and that is Luke Davis, who was playing one of the Prince of Darkness there. And there were many scenes like that. The costumes were great. They had performances on Friday and Saturday evening, and then again on Sunday afternoon. I'll give Kathy Lord credit for this. I was involved in the plays a long time ago at Jackson High School.
That's right.
So I've
Oklahoma, remember?
Right, Oklahoma. I tend to go. I didn't make it to this play, but I do go to most of the plays if I possibly can.
Yes.
And Kathy, there's been some good directors all through the years, but Kathy Lord she's taken it to a different level, getting more kids involved, including the boys, and getting more singers involved and getting younger kids involved.
Yes, get them started early.
Right, and that is not only a foundation builder for when those kids get older and they play the main parts, but of course it gets more people out because parents come to see their kids. And so we will have some coverage on that in our Wednesday paper as well. We had some coverage on the front end, but we'll have some coverage on the back end because this is their Super Bowl. The football guys and the cheerleaders, they come out every game. The thespians come out one weekend a year.
That's right.
They'll come out again
a couple times
to
a
the
year.
spring.
Yeah.
Right. So, once again, I've always said this. What is the hardest? Catching a football in a championship game in front of 3,000 fans, or being in front of 300 people with the spotlight on you, knowing that you're not allowed to forget a line.
I know.
Or everybody may know it.
That's right.
If you don't cover it very well.
I don't know.
Well,
that's terrifying.
They're both
very, very
don't underrate
complicated.
all the preparation that the thespians do. So congratulations once again to everybody who was involved in that. Okay, we're going to turn to now to some of the hard news that occurred here in the last week. I don't think I was on towards the end of the week, so some of this we didn't
catch up a little bit.
We didn't get
Pete.
to cover. So if you kind of get your news from the TV, you won't miss anything here. But one of the bad things that happened, this was on Wednesday, a very bad house fire in Wellston. I know that's an oxymoron. Every house fire is bad, but this one was truly bad. There you see what that house looked like. The firefighters were still there putting it out by the time I got there, but you can see the house is gutted. It's on the corner of North Pennsylvania Avenue and D Street in Wellston. There was a young boy in there, I think preteen or 13 or 14.
Yes.
I never did get an age, but he had come home from school was taking a nap, and then a fire broke out in the kitchen. He was able to get out, and Wellston Assistant Fire Chief Daryl Wright told me that smoke detectors may have saved his life.
Absolutely.
Because that's what woke him up, and he was able to get out. The Wellston Fire Department, who was helped by the Hamden Fire Department and the Jackson Fire Department and the Colton Fire Department, got there very quick. But just after they got there, it just lit up like a tinderbox.
Man.
And they were not able, to save the house. It's standing there, but it's gutted. Contents considered pretty much a total loss. And unfortunately, both a dog and a cat perished in that fire. It's always so sad.
It is.
Because,
But the young man's out a lot. Okay.
And right, and the mother was away working, and she got back. I'm sure, just thanking the Lord about her son being saved.
Yeah.
But when you think about the pets, and that's what they think about. If they're going to get anything out, get the pets out.
Yep.
But they were overcome by smoke, and unfortunately they were not able to get out. That's how quickly that it went up.
Man.
So that was one of the sad stories from last week.
I hate to hear that.
One of the main stories out of Vinton County that we're reporting on, and we're going to continue to follow up on, was an incident that happened at the last Vinton County School Board meeting. That was on Thursday evening.
Okay.
It was a long meeting. There was a couple of executive sessions. And at the end of the second executive session, that was at the end of the meeting. That's an executive session. If you don't know what that means, that's behind closed doors. You're allowed,
Yes.
Public bodies are allowed to go behind closed doors for a number of limited reasons. It's only supposed to be for certain things, and it allows them to discuss things in private. They can take no action in executive session. But after an executive session, they have to come out, finish the meeting in public session, even if there's no business or they don't do any business because of the executive session. Well, after the second executive session, Laura Martin, who is a new member of the Vinton County Local Board of Education, and that is Laura Martin on the right there.
Okay.
She is speaking with Mary Ann Hell, a former interim Wellston superintendent of schools, but Mary Ann has been an administrator in the Vinton County schools for many years. She is retired from that, is now on the Board of Education.
Okay.
That is Laura and Mary Ann having a word. Just before that, or just after that, Laura Martin announced that she was resigning from the Vinton County Local Board of Education.
Okay.
That was after that executive session, so you figure there must have been a link. Something happened at the meeting prompted her to do this. She got up, and as she was walking out, when she was walking out, I want to make sure I get this right. She said, "It is not worth it."
Oh.
And she just walked out.
Okay.
And before that, she said she was resigning her position. There was a vote taken where the three remaining board members, because another member, Scarlett Newton, left before the vote was taken after Laura left. So there was 3 members to vote. That's enough to take a vote. They accepted her resignation.
Okay.
And anyway, we called her or made a contact with her. She thought about making a comment to explain. Everybody's wondering, why did she feel?
Yeah. Why is it not worth
she
it?
needed
Or
to resign after being elected to a 4-year term. She decided at this time not to make any further comment.
Okay.
We contacted the board president, Cindy Strasbaugh, and the superintendent of schools, Rick Brooks. Neither of them wished to make any comment other than to say that they will be filling the vacancy as soon as possible. And there is a post out now and on the website of the Vinton County Local Schools inviting people to make applications.
Is that an appointed
It
position?
would be
or
an appointed thing because of the timing. It came in the middle of a term.
Okay.
And the person who will be appointed, I'm not sure how this will work, on an interim basis, they will serve at least into next year. And then there may be, I think they were elected in 2021, and so Laura's term runs through 2025. The 4-year term will be up again in 2025. However, in 2023, the person who gets appointed here in the next month or so may have to run for the remainder of the unexpired
Okay.
term. Not sure how the law works
Whew.
or if it's different in school districts, but if you resign early in the term and then a year comes up where there are school board seats on, there's other school board seats that are on because they always stagger them.
Yes.
It could be that the unexpired term will be on this ballot. We will find out what the deal is.
Okay.
But there will be a person to serve on an interim basis at least through 2023, the rest of this year and 2023. And that will be appointed by the Board of Education. If somehow they can agree the probate juvenile judge in Vinton County will get to pick. And they will pick from the applicants that will come in. And I believe they're giving it at least a couple weeks to do applications. But we'll have that story. We'll be putting that out on the radio. We'll have it on the website just as soon as possible. Still researching that. But that was the big story out of Vinton County. Normally we focus our coverage on Jackson County and Vinton County, but of course, quite an incident in Ross County as well, a tragedy there.
Oh my gosh.
Happened in the sheriff's office parking lot.
Crazy stuff.
Right. It was on Thursday, November 17th. This was just about 5 p.m. last Thursday.
Strange thing is Jamie and I were like literally around the corner. We didn't know it till we got home. Right.
Well, anyway, This involved a sergeant with the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, Ross County Sheriff's Office. His name is Eric Kocherin. I may not have pronounced that right, but that's
sorry if we messed it up.
Kocherin or Kocherin is probably one of the two. And he had an exchange of gunfire with a suspect. As a result of that, the suspect has died. And Sergeant Kocherin is in the hospital in serious condition. Yes. That was the last update that I had. He's stable but serious.
Okay.
So he's probably going to survive, but some serious injuries. There was a big prayer vigil downtown in Ross County yesterday, and we were not there to cover it. We don't cover Ross County primarily, but we saw some social media posts from the Chillicothe Police Department and the Ross County Sheriff's Office. It looked like there were hundreds of people there to come out and pray for the recovery of Sergeant Kocherin. And I think to just express support in general to law enforcement and the dangerous job that they have. I know it's a cliche, we say it, but you can't say it enough. You know, those men and women get up every day, and if they're out on the street, you never know what they might face, what incident they might face.
This sounded like a really bizarre incident from what I understand. That the suspect just kind of like came up to him and...
Well, that was one of the posts. The BCI is investigating. They turned it over to the BCI, and they've released limited information. We do have a point of contact with them when they do point out new information. But when it's under investigation, they keep it pretty close to the vest.
Smartly, yeah.
There was a post that may have been correct that said that the suspect, and his name, by the way, is Nicholas Mitchell, age 42, and he died as a result of his injuries, that he approached the sheriff's office and said, I need to talk to you, and then it escalated.
Yeah.
There was gunfire there. I'm not sure who shot who first, but there was an exchange of gunfire there, and both men were hit or wounded. So anyway, believe it or not, this is the 55th officer-involved shooting that BCI has investigated this year. 55 statewide. Doesn't that sound like a lot?
That seems like a lot.
It seems like a lot, exactly. Yeah. And so you wonder, there's other factors too involved, but you wonder why now there are a few people wanting to go into law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right. It is
Sure.
it is a little bit of a problem. All right. Hey, we want to tell you good news from the city of Jackson on the infrastructure reports. They awarded contracts, they being the Jackson City Council at the last council meeting, for the Mill Street sewer project. That is a $2 million project where there's going to be new replacement water lines. There's going to be new sanitary sewer lines, because that is an area of the city, believe it or not, there was no sanitary sewer service. So this is a new thing and a big thing there. And they're also going to do some other things there. They'll end up doing some paving to replace the streets that they tear up because they're doing lines. This work could take place, according to Mayor Randy Evans, in the winter, because it's mostly excavation. It's not like you're building a structure.
Gotcha.
So work taking place over there. The Wood Street, Mitchell Street sewer line project, that's ongoing now. That it's about half done. That will continue to be done. That is $1 million plus project as well. And the High Street Bridge over there, if you live on that end of town, that's kind of disrupted the traffic flow. They expect that bridge now to reopen within the next week or two. So that was good news from the city of Jackson. Very good news in Vinton County for the senior citizens. Last Wednesday, and Alex Shope, our editorial assistant, who was willing to do anything for me, love that man. He went up to Vinton County for me because, Red was busy and this was a little early for him with the schedule he works. He covered the reopening of the Vinton County Senior Citizen Center.
Thank goodness.
This was on Wednesday, and this was a big deal because it has been closed for nearly 2 years because of COVID. It just did not reopen when some of the other things reopened for different reasons.
That's
They
right.
finally reopened for congregate social activities and other things within the center last Wednesday. Those two folks there that we see in the picture, the Secretary Treasurer of the Vinton County Senior Center Board, that is Dola Powell. And there on the right is Dave Peoples, who I think is in charge of transportation. He's one of the main staffers there at the Vinton County Senior Citizen Center. They both talked with Alex about the importance of the Senior Citizen Center being reopened. They did continue some meal service, the grab and go. You could pick up meals. They delivered meals. They did transportation. But the congregate activities, which means so much intangibly, where the seniors can get together, socialize, have a sit-down meal, that had not been happening for nearly 2 years, and those things are happening again. They hope to warm up and do more activities, transition into more activities as time passes by. But that was big news for the senior citizen population in Vinton County.
That's great.
New business in downtown MacArthur, Jen. It's called the Smoke and Beans Coffee Bar.
I saw that. Very cool.
Isn't that neat?
That's fun.
That is in the Spring Street Sports Building at 116 West Main Street. This was the ribbon cutting that was last Tuesday, just 6 days ago. And they're in front with the scissors, kind of there, just the second and third from the left, are the owner-operators. That's John and Connie McGee. And they're very entrepreneur-oriented, always thinking of what they can do that would be a successful business, something that's needed in the community. And, the kind of drinks that are in vogue now on the coffee side and like that, the deluxe coffee stuff that, everybody, nobody drinks straight coffee anymore. It's lattes and all like that. There were people they knew in Vinton County that was going to Jackson or Wellston or Logan to get this kind of service.
I see.
And so they said, why not in MacArthur?
Right.
And so that's what the Smoke and Beans Coffee Bar is all about. They have, in addition to cafe coffee type drinks and hot chocolate and cold drinks, they have also a small line of muffins, cupcakes, cinnamon rolls, coffee cakes, and other pastries, the kind of thing you'd want to have if you're sitting down, just taking a break, maybe even having a light lunch.
That's awesome.
And so the Smoke and Beans Coffee Bar, we want to wish them the best of luck. They are now operating there, as I said, at 116 West Main Street in downtown MacArthur. That is in the same building as Spring Street Sports. All right, looking ahead to some of the things coming up this week, Jennifer. Too much to cover in the time we have left, but we'll hit some highlights.
Sure.
This Thursday, when everybody is getting ready to stuff themselves with turkey, there's going to be some people out running for a good cause.
Not it.
You're not going to be there. Okay. The 5K turkey trot will be held at the Jackson Area YMCA. This is something they've been doing for a number of years. You'll be surprised how many people come out to that.
There's a ton of people that go to that.
It is. I've come out and covered it before, and I thought, gosh, am I going to go out on a holiday thing, take a picture of 10 people taking off? Well, there's a lot more than 10 people.
No, it's a lot.
Off. It's got a race start is at 8 a.m., so you're not allowed to sleep in, but it will start and end at the YMCA. It's open to anyway. It's open to anybody. The deadline for registration was November the 24th, so you can't do it now because they had to order the shirts and all like that.
Oh, wait.
My guess...
Today's the 21st.
Today's the 20th. Okay, I guess you can.
Yeah.
November the 24th is the deadline, and that's Thanksgiving Day.
Oh.
So I guess that you can walk up and go there.
Huh.
There's no cost, so there's
okay.
Right. So there's no problem there. You had to sign up by November 11th to get the T-shirt.
Gotcha.
That's where I got
that
tripped
makes
up
sense.
a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm wrong. I'm tripping myself up on this one. There is an entry fee. It's $20 for YMCA members and $30 for non-members. And they will award plaques to the top male and female winners, medals to the top boy and girl runners. The first 80 people in the race will get a medal. So you can see they're planning for a very good turnout. It's pretty low cost. If you signed up in advance before November 11th, you can get the T-shirt, but you can still enter. It just, there won't be a T-shirt involved.
Gotcha.
And that starts once again at 8 a.m. Obviously, in addition to registering in person at the Y or just showing up, you can also register online. So that's another easy way to do it as well. That's the 5K Turkey Trot. And
Get out and work out before you eat.
I know the proceeds will certainly help the Jackson area YMCA.
Yes.
All right. Hey, we want to toast our Eagle Scouts. We have 3 new Eagle Scouts in the Jackson area.
Good job.
And, you always hear about the Eagle Scout. It's the highest achievement award that a scout can win. And only 4% of scouts become Eagle Scouts.
Yes.
Even though a lot of scouts, when they get in, they think, I want to be an Eagle Scout. Well, it's hard to do.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to jump through all those badges and so forth.
Yep.
But the 3 young men, we had their picture in the paper on Saturday, and they are Matthew Gibson, Carson Harris, and Keegan Hammond. They are the new Eagle Scouts in
Good
Jackson.
job.
That is Matthew Gibson there. I believe he's also Jackson's top male cross-country runner. So he finds time for a lot of things. And the other 2 young gentlemen are Carson Harris and Keegan Hammond. I believe that's Carson on the left and Keegan on the right. And, to be successful, they have to have the support of their parents.
They sure
It's
do.
a big time investment. And they have to have, the support of their scout leaders, which they certainly have here in the Jackson area.
Oh, yes.
And then they have to put in the work. And it's kind of like the military. They say even if you don't stay in the military forever, the training that you get, the orientation that you get when you go through basic and all like that, you learn a lot of life skills, discipline, respect, and all like that. They say the same thing about the Scouts.
Yep.
And so beyond just the participation that you have, the friends that you make, the good you do in the community with your projects, because they're usually community service projects, you just learn to give. So anyway, congratulations to the Eagle Scouts. Speaking of congratulations, we have a new pastor for the First Baptist Church of Wellston. And his name is Nate DeRochi, and his wife is Riley. They had an open house just a weekend ago at the First Baptist Church. There they are standing in front of the First Baptist Church of Wellston.
Yeah.
They are a very outgoing young couple, want to not only serve the congregation, but serve the community as well, and invite non-members and folks who maybe aren't going to a church right now to attend the services and the activities at the First Baptist Church of Wellston. Beautiful church located on South Pennsylvania Avenue in Wellston. We welcome them to the community and wish them the very best of well. Speaking of charity, fun, and Christmas, there was a big event. This is the big event of the year to support the Oak Hill Elementary School. It's called the Festival of Trees. There's 2 of them. There were 2 of them. Their Festival of Trees. This was held a week ago Thursday at the Oak Hill Elementary. It is the big fundraiser that the Oak Hill Elementary does. They auction off trees. Guess who's there to auction them off?
Patrick Ball.
How'd you know? Right. And Santa Claus and Mrs. Santa Claus is there. Isn't that a cute picture? I know we'll be running pictures like this for the next 6 weeks, but this was the first one we had, so we're going to show it to you. That is Keidel Lester having her picture taken with Santa and Mrs. Santa. But this raises money. Once again, this event raises money for the Oak Hill Elementary School, and the PTO allows the PTO to bankroll some very important student projects, some student trips and other activities that are what you would call niceties that maybe, would not happen within the regular school budget. All right. We have just a couple minutes, and next week, I know we'll talk about some of the pre-Christmas events, but I want to tell you that most of the big Christmas events that are going to take place in our 2 counties are going to be on Saturday, December 3rd.
Okay.
That's Christmas in downtown in MacArthur. That's Christmas in the village in Oak Hill. That's the holiday light up activities in Jackson. And that's the Christmas streets on Wellston streets and the Lions Club Christmas Parade in Wellston. There's also hometown Hamden events in Hamden as well through the Hammond Hardware Store. And we'll tell you more about that later. But a date of another big Christmas event here in Jackson, it has been announced. It's going to be Thursday, December 8th. That's the Mayu Brown Funeral Home's Christmas cheer in yesteryear.
Yes.
Such a big, popular event with the
It is.
exotic animals, the singing by the by
cool.
the school choirs, and of course the carriage rides. That the horse-drawn carriage rides, which are so important. We'll be telling you more about that. We'll be telling you about the different events that's happening on December the 3rd and other dates here in Jackson. The Lena's Christmas tree lighting in Colton, that's their Christmas tree lighting event. That's going to be on Thursday, December the 1st. Also, something new that we want to say props to the Vinton County Fair Board. Okay, they're going to have a Christmas tree display too. We have them in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill. Now there's going to be one at the Vinton County Fairgrounds.
Oh, okay.
So they advertised this back in October, didn't know what kind of response they did. Well, guess they got a great response. I think they're going to have 40 trees up there. And I think they're going to be on display starting in the month of December. And it's free. You can go anytime up there and see the Christmas trees. Speaking of Christmas trees, the Ohilco lights. Once again, they sold out. The Ohilco lights display in Pride Park. I believe a lot of people were there decorating yesterday. They had the trees up so you could start decorating. They're going to have a public lighting event on Saturday, this Saturday, the 26th at 7 o'clock. Someone will push the switch and all those lights will come on the trees there, and that draws a big crowd as well. So that's going to happen as well. And like I say, we will give you some more details on these events a little bit later.
Sure.
But guess what? It is basketball season, Jennifer.
Can you believe it?
We had a couple of girls' basketball games over the weekend. The Wellston Lady Rockets got started with their new coach, Chris Elsesser. They played Ross Huntington, a very good game, but lost by 10 points, 52-42. And the Vinton County Lady Vikings lost to Colgrove 34-33 at home on Friday evening. The Wellston game was also on Friday evening, so I meant what I said. But the Vinton County Lady Vikings, oh my gosh, they were ahead 3 points and had the other team score 2 baskets in the last 5 seconds to lose by 1 point.
You're kidding.
Right.
How does that happen?
Well, it can happen. It's sports.
Can. You're right. It's sports.
Right. Tonight, we're going to have a game on the radio. Once again, the radio is going to be covering, the boys and girls basketball games all season long.
Yeah.
There's so many games, college games as well. But tonight, 2 local teams involved. The Vinton County Lady Vikings come to Jackson to play our ladies.
Exciting.
So that game will be on tonight. Dan Morrow will be there. If I live through the day, I will be there as well.
I think you'll be fine.
And I think sports editor Todd Compson will be there to cover it as well. But that's always a big event when those 2 teams play. Vinton County's had the best of it in recent years. You know how good they've been. But the Jackson team has high hopes this year. They have most of their starters back, and they're juniors.
That's right.
They were champions in the Frontier Athletic Conference last year. So that's what we want to tell you about. There's public meetings going on this week. We will be there to cover those as well.
Okay.
Public affairs reporting. So we've wrapped her up.
That's right. Main thing, download that Total Media Radio app. Also download the new Telegram app, and you can check out stories and that kind of stuff too. So lots and lots of stuff. You have access to all of this news should you choose to find it.
Right, and the news will go on in spite of the holiday week. We're going to have both editions of the paper. They'll be coming out on the days scheduled Wednesday and Saturday. We'll be working a different holiday schedule publication-wise so people can have some time off.
Mm-hmm.
But rest assured, your paper will be there on Wednesday. Your paper will be there on Saturday or available on the newsstands or in the news boxes on the normal schedule. And we'll, of course, be putting that stuff online as well.
That's right.
If the weather's crappy, you've got other things to do, just go online and you see all the news there. And you'll see all of it if you're a subscriber.
You got it.
All
Pete,
right.
Thank you for spending your morning with us. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here. And I'll tell you one other thing.
Yes.
I'll get you on this. The most popular side dish in the state of Ohio for Thanksgiving is what? What's the most popular side dish? This is according to a survey. Could be wrong, but this is what they said. It got me.
Green bean casserole.
That was number 2.
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
Mashed potatoes is correct.
James, good job.
Do they not consider dressing a side dish? Maybe they consider that part of the turkey or something. I figured it had to be dressing.
I mean, you would think.
I think people just don't like dressing, Pete.
Okay, it is mashed potatoes.
I do.
You take them for granted, and the sweet
Mashed
potatoes are kind
potatoes.
of like a special thing.
Yes.
But usually you have the mashed potatoes in there too.
So I do mashed potatoes and then put the noodles on the mashed potatoes.
Oh, that works.
All the carbs, all in one bite.
Right,
It's
and
great.
the turkey and dressing too.
Yes,
right.
all of that.
Okay, I
So-
pity that poor horse that you're going to get on.
I know, right? All right.
But it's once a year. Don't worry about
It's
it.
once a year. Everything in moderation. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We appreciate you all so much for tuning in. And thanks, Pete, for spending your morning with us. Thanks, James, for pushing all the right buttons. And we will be right back here tomorrow as we gear up for Thanksgiving. So until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.